Welcome to Empathy Stories, where we share heartfelt tales of love, growth, and transformation. Today's story brings us the unlikely pairing of Adam, a billionaire CEO, and Lila, a strong-willed country girl. Watch as their worlds collide. Their values are tested, and their love bridges the impossible. Let's begin. Lila Thompson never imagined that delivering a simple package could change her life. As a young woman from the quiet town of Maplewood, she had always found comfort in the familiar rhythm of her days, helping her grandmother run their small general store. But when the need for a last-minute delivery brought her to the towering headquarters of Carter Industries in the bustling city of Bridgeport, she was thrown into a world she could hardly comprehend. The lobby of Carter Industries was a spectacle of sleek marble floors, soaring glass walls, and polished professionals moving with purpose, clutching the package tightly. Lila felt out of place in her simple floral dress and well-worn boots. She tried to steady her nerves, reminding herself that this was just a quick delivery. But as she stepped into the elevator lobby, fate had other plans. As she turned a corner, Lila collided with a man moving at full speed. The jolt caused her to drop the package. And worse, the cup of coffee he was holding spilled all over his expensive suit. Mortified, Lila scrambled to apologize, her face burning with embarrassment. "I'm so sorry. I wasn't watching where I was going," she stammered, crouching to pick up the package. The man, clearly annoyed, looked down at his now ruined suit with an exasperated sigh. "Clearly," he said, his voice sharp, as he grabbed a handkerchief to dab at the stain. Lila finally realized who she had bumped into: Adam Carter, the CEO of Carter Industries. His photos graced countless magazine covers, portraying him as a poised and powerful businessman. But in this moment, he just looked frustrated. What struck Adam, however, wasn't her clumsiness but her genuine reaction. Unlike the polished professionals he dealt with daily, Lila wasn't apologizing to impress him or avoid blame. Her mortification was sincere, and her wide, honest eyes caught him off guard. "It's fine," he said eventually, his tone softening. "Are you here for a delivery?" Lila nodded quickly. "Yes, for the finance department." "Right," he said, stepping aside. "You should probably get to it before someone else ends up wearing their coffee." Relieved, but still flustered, Lila rushed off, leaving Adam staring after her. There was something refreshing about her, a rawness and simplicity he hadn't encountered in years. Days later, Lila returned to Maplewood, eager to put the embarrassing encounter behind her. Life in the small town was a stark contrast to the chaos of Bridgeport. Here, neighbors greeted each other warmly, children played in the streets, and everyone knew each other's stories. Lila threw herself back into helping her grandmother at the general store, hoping to forget the mortifying incident with the CEO. But fate wasn't done with her yet. Unbeknownst to Lila, Carter Industries was planning a major expansion, and Maplewood was in its sights. The company wanted to build a new distribution center, and the land they were targeting included her grandmother's store. The first sign of trouble came when Adam's assistant, Ben, arrived in town to negotiate with property owners. When Ben walked into the store to inquire about the surrounding properties, Lila immediately recognized the company name on his briefcase. Alarm bells rang in her mind. She had heard whispers of a big corporation buying up land, but now she realized it wasn't just a rumor. It was real, and it threatened her community. That evening, Lila confronted her grandmother, who admitted she had heard talk of a company buying land, but didn't know what to do. "We've been here for generations," her grandmother said, her voice heavy with worry. "I can't imagine losing the store." Meanwhile, back in Bridgeport, Adam found himself unable to stop thinking about the chaotic but charming girl from the lobby. Her honesty had been a breath of fresh air in his carefully controlled world. When Ben updated him on the progress of the Maplewood negotiations, Adam decided to visit the town himself. He wanted to understand the situation firsthand. But deep down, he also couldn't ignore the pull he felt toward Lila. When Adam walked into the general store a few days later, Lila's heart sank. She recognized him immediately, and her initial embarrassment was quickly replaced by frustration. "What are you doing here?" she asked, folding her arms defensively. "I'm here to see the town," Adam replied, his tone calm but firm. I want to understand what we're working with. Lila narrowed her eyes, skeptical of his motives. Let me guess. You're here to smooth things over, so you can take the land without a fight? Adam raised an eyebrow, surprised by her boldness. I'm here to learn, he said simply. Why don't you show me around? Help me understand why this place matters so much. Determined to prove her point, Lila agreed. Over the next few days, she took Adam on a tour of Maplewood, showing him the local farms, the bustling town square, and the hill overlooking the entire area. She spoke passionately about the town's history, the families who had built it, and the memories woven into every corner. This isn't just land, she told him one evening as they stood on the hill at sunset. It's our home. It's who we are. For the first time in his career, Adam began to question his approach. Maplewood wasn't just a piece of real estate. It was a community. And Lila, with her fierce loyalty and heartfelt connection to her town, made him see it in a way he never had before. As the days passed, Adam found himself drawn to Lila's authenticity and passion. But he also knew that the decision ahead wouldn't be easy. His company and investors were counting on him, and the pressure was mounting. In the midst of it all, he began to realize that this wasn't just about a business deal. It was about who he wanted to be and what he truly valued. Adam Carter's time in Maplewood was meant to be a simple business trip, a courtesy visit to assess the town his company planned to expand into. Yet, from the moment he stepped into the quaint general store owned by Lila Thompson's grandmother, things started to feel different. Lila's fiery determination to protect her community struck a chord with him. She wasn't just a young woman clinging to nostalgia. She represented something Adam hadn't considered before: the heart and soul of a town built on trust, history, and family. At first, their interactions were tense. Lila was wary of Adam's polished charm, assuming it was a cover for corporate greed. But when she saw his genuine curiosity about the town, she decided to show him what Maplewood truly meant to its people. Over several days, Lila led Adam through the winding streets, introducing him to local farmers, shopkeepers, and families who had lived there for generations. She took him to the bustling town square, where children played and neighbors greeted each other warmly. On one quiet evening, she brought him to a hill overlooking Maplewood, where the entire town spread out below them like a patchwork quilt. This isn't just land, Lila said softly, her voice steady with conviction. It's history. It's family. It's everything we've worked for. If your company takes this away, it's not just buildings you'll tear down, it's people's lives. Adam listened intently, her words stirring something deep within him. For the first time, he began to question the project he had so confidently championed. Maplewood wasn't just a strategic location for a distribution center. It was a living, breathing community, and Lila was its beating heart. Back in Bridgeport, however, things were growing more complicated. Adam's board members and investors were growing impatient. The Maplewood expansion was a critical part of their growth strategy, and delays were unacceptable. Adam found himself caught between two worlds: the demands of his high-powered corporate life and the quiet strength of a town that was starting to feel like home. The tension came to a head when heavy rains caused the nearby creek to flood, threatening homes and businesses in Maplewood. Lila, like many in the community, jumped into action without hesitation. She organized neighbors, filled sandbags, and worked tirelessly to protect what they could. To her surprise, Adam was right there beside her, ditching his tailored suit for boots and a rain jacket. He carried sandbags, directed volunteers, and even pulled Lila to safety when she slipped near the rising waters. In that chaotic moment, Lila saw a side of Adam she hadn't expected. He wasn't just a CEO. He was a man willing to get his hands dirty to help people he barely knew. It was the first time she allowed herself to wonder if he might truly care. But not everyone shared her cautious optimism. Ben, Lila's childhood friend, had always been protective of her, and his mistrust of Adam ran deep. "Don't let him fool you," Ben warned one evening as they worked together at the general store. "He's a businessman first. He'll say what you want to hear, but when it comes down to it, he'll choose his company over us." Lila was torn. Her instincts told her Adam was different, But Ben's words lingered in her mind. Could she trust someone whose world was so far removed from her own? The waters receded, but the uncertainty between them remained. A few days later, Adam invited Lila to a charity event in Bridgeport, an effort to show her his life and his intentions. Reluctantly, she agreed, though the thought of stepping into his world made her nervous. The event was everything she had imagined, glamorous and extravagant, with elegant guests sipping champagne under glittering chandeliers. Lila couldn't help but feel out of place, her modest dress and small-town roots standing in stark contrast to the polished elites around her. Whispers and judgmental glances followed her throughout the night, making her feel like an outsider. Adam noticed her discomfort and tried to reassure her, but the gap between their worlds felt insurmountable. Later that evening, as they stood on the balcony overlooking the city, Adam confessed his feelings. "You've changed me, Lila," he said earnestly. "You've made me see what really matters. I don't want to lose you." Overwhelmed, Lila admitted she felt the same, but wasn't sure how they could make it work. "Your world and mine are so different," she said, her voice trembling. "And the land deal, it's still hanging over us. I need time to figure this out." As Lila returned to Maplewood and Adam faced mounting pressure from his board, both were left to grapple with their growing connection and the challenges that threatened to pull them apart. For Adam, the choice between business and love was no longer theoretical. For Lila, trusting him meant risking her heart and her community. Both knew that whatever came next, their decisions would change everything. Back in Bridgeport, Adam Carter faced the most challenging decision of his career. His board had delivered an ultimatum: proceed with the Maplewood expansion or face severe backlash. The land deal was critical to the company's growth, and delaying any longer could jeopardize everything he had worked for. But as he sat in his sleek, glass-walled office overlooking the city, Adam's thoughts weren't on profits or investor expectations. They were on Lila Thompson and the little town that had stolen his heart. For the first time, Adam truly questioned the life he had built. He had always believed in ambition, in power, in winning at all costs. Yet, his time in Maplewood had shown him a world where values like family, community, and authenticity mattered more than any bottom line. And more than anything, he realized that without Lila, the world he had created for himself felt hollow. Finally, he made his choice. Adam walked into the boardroom the next morning and delivered a bombshell announcement. "We're canceling the Maplewood project," he said firmly. The room erupted in protests and accusations. But Adam stood his ground. "This isn't just about land. It's about people. We'll find another way to grow the company, one that doesn't destroy communities." The decision wasn't without consequences. Adam faced criticism, strained relationships with his investors, and the uncertainty of how his company would recover. But he felt lighter, freer, knowing he had made the right call. He wasted no time heading back to Maplewood, eager to share the news with Lila. When Adam arrived at the general store, Lila was helping her grandmother restock shelves. She froze when she saw him, her heart pounding as a mix of emotions flooded her. Adam approached her with a small smile, his eyes searching hers. "I canceled the project," he said simply. Lila's jaw dropped. "You canceled it? But your board, your company, they'll survive." Adam interrupted, his tone steady but earnest. "I couldn't do it. Lila, I couldn't destroy what makes this place special. What makes you special?" Tears welled in Lila's eyes as she realized the depth of his sacrifice. He had chosen her, chosen Maplewood, over everything else. "I don't know what to say," she whispered. Adam reached for her hands, holding them gently. "You don't have to say anything. I just want a chance, a real chance with you." Overwhelmed but deeply moved, Lila nodded. "Okay," she said, her voice trembling with emotion. "Let's give this a chance." Their decision to be together wasn't without challenges. Many in Maplewood remained skeptical of Adam, unsure if a billionaire CEO could truly understand or care about their way of life. Lila's childhood friend Ben struggled to let go of his doubts, though he could see how happy Adam made her. But Adam was determined to prove himself, not through words, but through actions. He began by immersing himself in the community. He helped at the general store, worked alongside farmers during harvest season, and even organized a fundraiser for the local school, using his resources to bring in much-needed supplies. Slowly but surely, the people of Maplewood began to see Adam in a new light. He wasn't just a man who had almost disrupted their lives. He was someone willing to roll up his sleeves and contribute to their future. Adam also used his influence to create lasting change within his company. Inspired by his time in Maplewood, he launched a new initiative focused on supporting rural communities rather than exploiting them. The first project was in Maplewood, bringing new jobs and resources while preserving the town's identity. It was a compromise that satisfied both the board and the residents, marking a new chapter for Carter Industries. Months passed, and Adam and Lila's relationship grew stronger. They balanced each other perfectly. Lila grounded Adam when corporate life became overwhelming, and Adam encouraged Lila to dream beyond the boundaries of Maplewood. They traveled together, exploring cities and landscapes Lila had only read about. But they always returned to Maplewood, a place that had become their shared sanctuary. One evening, after a community event, Adam took Lila back to the hill overlooking the town. Under the light of a full moon, he knelt down on one knee and pulled out a small velvet box. "Lila," he began, his voice thick with emotion, "you've changed my life in ways I never thought possible. You've shown me what really matters, and I can't imagine my future without you. Will you marry me?" Lila's breath caught in her throat, tears streaming down her face as she nodded. "Yes," she whispered, her voice trembling with joy. "A million times yes." News of their engagement spread quickly, and the town celebrated with joy. The wedding was held on that very hill, with the breathtaking landscape of Maplewood as their backdrop. It was a simple yet elegant ceremony, a perfect blend of their two worlds. Lila wore a dress handmade by her grandmother, and Adam, in a tailored suit, couldn't take his eyes off her as she walked down the aisle. Their vows spoke of love, respect, and a promise to always fight for one another, no matter the obstacles. The reception was held in the town square, where the community once again came together to celebrate. There were homemade dishes, wildflower decorations, and dancing under the stars. Even members of Carter Industries board attended, witnessing firsthand the beauty of the town and the people Adam had fought to protect. As the night drew to a close, Adam and Lila stood on the edge of the dance floor, watching their friends and family laugh and celebrate. Lila looked up at Adam, her eyes shining with tears of happiness. "I never thought this would be my life," she whispered. Adam smiled, pulling her close. "I didn't either," he admitted, "but I can't imagine it any other way." Their story was no longer just about a billionaire and a country girl. It was about the power of love to transform, to challenge, and to bridge even the widest gaps. Maplewood wasn't just Lila's home anymore, it was Adam's too. And together, they were ready to face whatever the future held, knowing that as long as they had each other, they could overcome anything. Adam's journey teaches us that true success isn't measured by power or profit, but by the impact we have on the people and communities around us. As a high-powered CEO, Adam believed he had everything he needed: wealth, influence, and control, until his encounter with Lila and the people of Maplewood challenged his worldview. Through their resilience, warmth, and values, he learned that leadership requires empathy, integrity, and the courage to make choices that prioritize people over personal gain. His transformation from a corporate magnate to a compassionate advocate for communities shows the power of change when we open ourselves to new perspectives. Lila's story is a testament to the strength of staying true to one's values. Despite the challenges of standing up to a powerful corporation, she fought fiercely to protect her town and its legacy. Her courage, compassion, and unwavering dedication to her community inspired Adam's transformation and reminded everyone that even the smallest voices can create ripples of change. Through her journey, Lila teaches us the importance of trusting our instincts, embracing love when it comes, and believing in the power of unity. Together, Adam and Lila's story is a celebration of love, resilience, and the idea that even the most unlikely partnerships can bridge worlds, create harmony, and build a better future. Thank you for joining us on this touching journey of love, resilience, and transformation. Adam and Lila's story reminds us of the power of connection and staying true to what matters most. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Empathy Stories for more heartwarming tales. Together, let's celebrate compassion, love, and the courage to embrace change. See you next time.